Hey there folks, Santee at Arizona Ghost Raiders here. Cannons in the Wild West. Let's check it out. Recently, we sponsored another Civil War weekend at Old Tucson. There were reenactors from the Arizona Civil War Council camping out on the famous movie set. Throughout the weekend, the North and South engaged in battles and shot cannons at each other. It was fun talking to guests with the thunder of artillery in the background. If there's one thing I like as much as Gatling guns, it's cannons.
Cannons to the left of me.
Out west, cannons were brought out mainly for the defense of the forts that dotted the landscape. Artillery was meant to soften the opposition by taking out large amounts of infantry or other artillery. For naval warfare, it was essential.
Stop blowing holes in my ship!
As you can imagine, after the Civil War, all those cannons didn't just get left out on the battlefield. They were repurposed for coastal defense or sent out to the wild frontier.
Disturbing the peace, that's what it is.
Thomas Rodman made a serious one that came in at a whopping 25 tons. These were used to stop ships from attacking. The biggest of Rodman's artillery was capable of firing a 360-pound shell.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Now, there wasn't a need for those out west. That's just to give you an idea of the firepower available for the time. A popular Civil War cannon called the 3-inch ordnance rifle saw use on the frontier well into the 1880s. It fired a 9.5-inch shell at around 1,800 yards. Cannons at forts had a few jobs. Protecting the trade routes was their primary purpose, but they also used them for signaling and announcing important arrivals. Bent's Fort in Colorado also has a swivel gun, which operated on a rotating mount and could fire grape or canister shot. Not surprisingly, all of these weapons were feared. We've all seen war movies depicting what happens to those in the path of a cannonball.
Once more into the breach. Whoa!
John Fremont had a mountain howitzer tagging along his expedition to map the Oregon Trail in 1843. Apparently, it got trapped in the snow, so they left it in the Sierra Nevadas. The Alamo had a 16-pounder that came with a pretty good story. Originally built in the 18th century, it was recovered from a shipwreck by the Spanish and brought to San Antonio, where it was eventually captured and reused in 2 battles. After the Alamo siege, the Mexican army buried it. Fun fact, at my job we have a few prop cannons from John Wayne's 1960 film, The Alamo, which can only fire blanks. Many of these field cannons were on a mobile carriage so they could not only be transported but pulled to different fortifications during battle. The elevation could be handled with a screw and a crank, and many of the barrels were rifled. Accuracy with a practiced gun crew was frequently pretty terrific. Having said that, the canister shot used during armed conflicts had a shotgun effect that was feared by many. The Sand Creek Massacre of 1864 saw the use of these rounds in 12-pounders with devastating effect. During the period, breech-loading artillery was introduced. This was a major upgrade, allowing for a faster rate of fire. The Hotchkiss M1875 mountain gun was used at the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre, then went on to serve in the Spanish-American War. These cannons were used by the cavalry as they were lighter to transport compared to the 500-pound mountain howitzers. Nowadays, about every historic battlefield and fort has a display of cannons. As you found out, reenactors can get them too. They are those mechanisms of war we don't want to think about, but are fascinated with. And who doesn't like to see all that black powder smoke? Well, folks, that's it for another episode. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on down the trail. Well, hello. Who are they? Look, there's Cat Masters, and there's this other cat. Wow.